It is not a big deal at all to move this furniture in. They're constantly moving furniture around when they're shooting. The couch, the tables are moving in and out and this and that. So not a big deal. And kite place, what is this? It's really good. It's a hummingbird tongue. Yeah. Very much in the line of Hepzibah, right? Why do we like those characters so much? And I say we because it is kind of universal. This isn't just me who loves this kind of quirky, strong, in-your-face female. When people were hitting on me, male or female, I am actually a very naive, stupid person. I didn't get it. I thought people were just being nice. He's 5'4" and he's 6'6". You just can't frame that shot. Like, will she stand? Nope. See, they're still not letting her stand next to her. That's why.
Bewitched, bewitched, you've got me in your spell.
Let's chat about Bewitched. We're getting ready to go to Salem, part 2. This is the Queen Hepzibah. Let's chat about Bewitched, part 1 and part 2 things. They have different name titles. I'll read them here in a second during credits. But we're on part 2. I'm actually cold watching this part 2. I watched part 1 ahead of time. Of course, I've seen them a million times in my lifetime, but I thought it might be fun just for me to watch it with you guys, kind of cold and go from memory, other than some general facts I know. But the first thing that I'm noticing right off the bat, there's no retrospective, right? You know, well, King Henry VIII, I talked about how they went long on previously on Bewitched. They're jumping right in, and it appears that, and you can do this sometimes, they're just kind of having a conversation in the bedroom, talking about what has happened. Queen Hepzibah, Queen Hepzibah. And a lot of things hasn't happened yet, like the whole demerits thing, which is great. I love the writing of this part 1 and part 2, which of course they shot all at the same time. Again, these are not aggressive episodes. They're all in the studio. They are all on the set. There's not a lot of pre-production that had to go in this. There are 2 dogs. Oh, Erin's in this one. Okay, yeah, see, I'm cold watching this with you guys. So Erin wasn't in the first one, Tabitha. But there she is in her beautiful little dress, wanting to look like a princess, because it's not Queen Hepzibah the goat. It's the High Priestess Hepzibah. If you were with us last time, I was saying how that's just weird to me. They've always been queens, and, you know, High Priestess has a lot of connotations, basically negative.
First call for dinner.
Well, oh, that was a gong for dinner. Okay, so look, they've redecorated the set. Which is kind of cool. Remember one time they did this when another queen was there and they repainted the stairway gold. Remember that episode? They obviously didn't do all that. That's what I mean. This is not, like I said last time, it is not a big deal at all to move this furniture in. They're constantly moving furniture around when they're shooting. The couch, the tables are moving in and out and this and that. So not a big deal. They have the livery. You know what livery is? You probably do. Livery is the word for what the servants wear, like the 2 guys standing there. So they got 2 extras as waiters. They got the guy with the trumpet. Here come the demerits. I love the demerits. And I'll tell you what fascinates me about these demerits, too, in terms of special effects, how sturdy that thing is. And in the old days, that's Jane Cannell, that's how you say her name, just so good. She's a Broadway actress. She just knows her body so well and how to do things and move that scepter, so it's all good. See how high that set is? I've talked about this before. Those walls go way up behind them. All right, let's, here we go. We're in the open. All right, so this is called... this is season 7, episode 2. The last one was episode 1. Salem, Here We Come, part 2. Completely different title from part 1, which was called To Go or Not Go. That is the question, part 1 for this Salem thing. Both are directed by Bill Asher. Both, of course, are written by Michael Morris. They were shot in July of 1970. They aired, the first one aired September 24th, 1970. This one aired October 1st, 1970. Just as everyone's thinking of their Hollywood Halloween costumes. 2 guest stars. Jane Cannell is Hepzibah. There it is. Michael Morris wrote it. Who's just awesome. I just love her. She's been on the past as Martha Washington, Mother Goose, Queen Victoria. That's all I can remember. And Cesar Romero is in here, who I knew. which I can talk about him when we get there. All right. So let me just start with the little piece of trivia I asked last time. There's something very unique about Jane Cannell, the Broadway actress right there playing Hepzibah, who is just like a perfect 10. Her characterization, her acting, she's just amazing at it. And what is it? She's 5'4". 5'4". 5'4". Now I know that's not super tiny, but that's short. So she's a little thing. What's Liz? Probably 5'6", 5'7", 5'8". I don't know. Maybe it's not that little. Maybe that's not that fascinating. But she's short, for what it's worth. Here come the demerits. See how sturdy that is? Because she has to move those demerits over. Again, the writer thought this up. It's brilliant. And what did they use? And then the set people, now, which I don't think is brilliant, they use it looks like toys. Again, I look at this stuff. And then another demerit. And then with anger, she does that with the scepter. Why couldn't they be gold or diamond clad? You know what I'm saying? So every now and then you can see they're just not taking themselves seriously. I guess maybe someone said, no, let's make it look like an abacus with colors. I don't know. But they could have done a lot of things. What do you think? I don't know what the script said. I haven't seen the script. But, Hepzibah keeps track of demerits and just counts them down. So someone came up with that. But the thing is, they just aren't hanging on two wires because it would be swinging like a swing back and forth. Back in the day before they really did a good job at erasing the wires, I did notice, so if it's saying like this, the wires went this way. So my guess is they're pretty strong wires and on poles that are standing there, because that thing had to be pretty solid and not swing back and forth for her to be doing the abacus thing. I'll use the word abacus because I don't know what else to use. All right, here we go. Do you like that dress? I know people love to talk about what Liz wears. I don't get jiggy with it that much, but I get it. It's kind of cool. Do I like that dress? No, I don't not like it. But I don't think it's great. I don't know. What do you think? Again, think about it. They could have a million different things that she could wear, but yet that's what they choose. So she had a lot to say what she had to wear too. So maybe that's what she chose. All right. So now, of course, as I talked about before, David White, Larry Tate wore his own clothes. They wardrobed Agnes, the Dicks, and Liz, and Tabitha, and everybody else pretty much wore their own clothes, which is why on almost every episode, David is wearing that same exact suit. Have you noticed? Like, doesn't he have any clothes at home? As in Larry Tate? He's always wearing that suit. Always, for 7 years. Every now and then it's different, but usually it's not. I find that fascinating that they let him do that. I don't know what's up with that. Maybe they just said, no, we want you in light gray a lot. It shows off your white hair. And by the way, I'm going from memory. I think when the run of Bewitched started, he was, I'm going to say 43. Am I right? Was it 47, something like that? But he's not a guy in his 50s and 60s. Well, he may be in his 50s here, or 50 exactly. But he's much younger in real life than he appears. But it was that way back then, right? So, Agnes is definitely in her 60s, late 60s by now. Right? Yeah. David may be 50, just hit 50, maybe not 50 yet, maybe just over 50. I don't know. You guys can look it up. I'm going way from memory. Anyway, so here we go. We got the livery and Tabitha and Samantha and Darren and Larry. And this is, again, really good. So they had to have real food there. He can't quite place. What is this? It's really good. It's hummingbird tongue. So I don't know if you get that joke, that it's hummingbird tongue. But the point is, how big could a hummingbird tongue be? Right? Did she just say it? Or did she... And they also have a really good line in here about Darren not liking it and Hepzibah saying it's an insult to not like our ethnic food. So again, High Priestess, mother of us all, ethnic food. Ethnic food doesn't really fit into that category. But anyway, they just went weird directions for me in a lot of this writing. So again, keep in mind, right about now, the airwaves, television is changing radically. All in the Family's coming on. All of these kinds of shows that are really meant to be in your face and meant to almost upset you to keep you watching. So, I don't know if all of that had anything to do with that or not, but that's just what the times were. All right, let's go back to this. So, Jane Cannell, if I haven't said yet or you didn't see the last one, big Broadway actress. Broadway actress before this, Broadway actress after this. Did a lot of stage, Mame, Dropney Opera, Threepenny Opera, which I think is in the world is called Dropney Opera in the acting world. Dropney. She did that, but there she is. So she's 5'4". She's not that tiny. I don't know. I read something where it's like she was only 5'4". But that's tough because what was Dick? I believe Dick was 6'3", right? Dick Sargent. That'd be about right. Yeah, 6. Yeah, you can see there's a when you kind of he's about a foot taller than her. And Liz is, I don't know how tall Liz was. Somebody knows. I know somebody knows that off the top of their head. If she's 5'4", she's probably 5. I'm just going to say 5'7". Nice normal age. Okay, this is cool. So now here's another animal. Penelope the goose. Do geese really have feathers like that, or did they dye it to make it look magical? I don't know. And then there are the magical Penelope goose eggs. I'm guessing because the eggs have dots that they were magical. So you can see in the kitchen where that whole stove thing moves, again, because if they're sitting at the table and someone's in this back chair, they get a camera back there in front of the fake stairs, which probably also move. You remember, if you were here last time, those stairs are totally fake. They're just lines. See? Now you can see them really good. The first couple stairs are real, and then it's just a slanted white thing with lines there. I can't believe I never noticed that for years and years and years, because I'm always looking at the background. And then we got the 70s paneling, which really dates it. There are some more extras in their livery. And so there's no one to watch Tabitha. Well, now there is. But I love the paneling, it's so dated. And even what Liz is wearing. I'll tell you one other things that I noticed in terms of behind the scenes things in watching this whole Salem saga. And again, I don't know how much you guys notice this stuff, but now film is getting much more sophisticated in the 70s. Remember when they first went to color film in the mid 60s, it was very much in its infancy and it needed a ton of light. They just blasted them with light. But now we're seeing a lot more shadows and darks and lights and side lightings and shadows on faces and things in a good way, which just adds dimension to it all. And I really enjoy that. There's a richer look to film because film is really advancing at this side very quickly, as a matter of fact, color film, because, this is color film is still in its infancy. And if this helps at all, the way today computers are just changing and changing and changing and processors are getting better and better and better. Imagine when all of a sudden, for decades it was black and white film and all of a sudden we went color. You better believe scientists were like at it, trying to make it need less light, be more less grainy, make it reflect better depth and all that kind of stuff. And it's really starting to show here in the last two seasons of Bewitched, starting here in season 7. Okay, so I haven't even talked about the story yet. Okay, let's get into the story of what's happening here. So Samantha has been summoned to Salem for the witch's convocation. In part 1, we learn Andorra says it's going to be a gas, using the 70s terminology, where we'll have, a workshop. She actually calls out on incantations, on spells, on potions, almost Harry Potter-ish. And Samantha thinks that's boring. I don't want to go. And then they hear about it, and the witches' council is upset. And so Queen Hepzibah, nope, it's not Queen. High Priestess Hepzibah comes to visit to reprimand her and says, I'm going to dissolve the marriage. And eventually says, okay, well, will withhold my decision, but I'm going to move in with you for a week to study this whole mortal witches marriage thing. Samantha just zapped Cesar Romero. And that's what's happening. And right now at this point, Hepzibah says, you work, what's work, kind of like Downton Abbey. Weekend, what's a weekend? If you knew that, I love Downton Abbey. Wondering if you like Downton Abbey. Do Bewitched people in general like Downton Abbey, or did you hate Downton Abbey? I loved it. Again, so there's the Dowager, Professor McGonagall. What's her name? Kathy something. Forget the actress's name. Brilliant. Very much in the line of Hepzibah, right? Why do we like those characters so much? And I say we because it is kind of universal. This isn't just me who loves this kind of quirky, strong, in-your-face female. That kind of character has sold for decades, from stage to film to TV. We just love them. And Dora, we just really love them. They make us want to watch them. So I don't know. I love her. All right. So Cesar Romero, I met in Hollywood. It's actually a couple times at parties. For some reason, when I say crowd, I don't know. There was a time when I first got to Hollywood, I was just like, I'm a lower middle class kid from the East Coast, and I'm in Hollywood, and I was a working actor. I worked all the time, and so you would just start getting invited to parties and things, and I was extremely naive, extremely stupid. I won't go to that part of it. I never did any. Let me just say this, because your mind's going. I've never done anything I'm embarrassed about or that I regret, because I was that stupid. When people were hitting on me, male or female, I am actually a very naive, stupid person. I didn't get it. I thought people were just being nice. I'm thinking about that because at one party, it's kind of true. This one producer just wouldn't let me alone. I thought he was just being nice until someone said Barry. And I'm like, really? I'm stupid. I'm very stupid that way. Oh boy, could I tell you stories? But couldn't we all? So anyway, what do I remember about him? He's kind of standoffish. You know what? I've said this a million times. They cast who they are. People cast who people are. Casting directors, they've always done it because they know they're going to get a performance out of them. Another demerit. They just are who they are. Who you see there is exactly who he is in real life. Now, of course, I already hear people saying, "But what about Batman? What about Batman?" Because what was he, the Joker in Batman, the Adam West? Robert Ward, Michael Ward, whoever Robin was, Batman, the 60s Batman, because, he was the Joker in that as well. In case you don't know, he played the Joker, but he's still that same, I'm not paying attention. They've used up all the demerits. The marriage will be dissolved. Now she's zapping them away. Okay, the marriage will be dissolved. The marriage will be dissolved. I don't remember what happens here. And I genuinely don't. This is the fun part about watching it cold, and the fun part about me being really a stupid person and having a horrible memory. I'd just like to know how. Now I know how. She'll turn you into whatever she said. All right, so
drumming me out of the witch world.
I don't know why they're not panicked. Again, these are some script writing things. Like if I were at a table read or reading to some director, I'm like, if the high priestess of all witches just said the marriage, she said she'll dissolve you. The marriage will be dissolved. The marriage will be dissolved. How are they not in their room running around screaming and like, oh my God, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Daddy! Or something like that. They're just all calm and like, there's like, I'd like to know how. And Samantha says, by dissolving you. Again, so now they're just trying to rationalize the whole thing. So obviously, eventually, the marriage won't be dissolved, and everything will be fine, and they're going to end up in Salem. And hey, guys, there's not a counter on here. I don't know where we are in this episode. I don't know where we are. Are we in the middle? Are we toward the end? Anyway, okay, so, all right. So Cesar Romero, by the way, is actually tall. He's probably 6'4". He may be 6'5", 6'7", 6'6", or something, if I remember. And so we're back to Jane is 5'4". So do they ever stand up? I did notice when I watched part one, only one time are they standing next to each other, and they're kind of shuffling out of the room real quick. Now, I will tell you this: I'm 6'2", which is tall, and when I would do scenes with someone short, let's say like that, they will always put them on boxes or something because it's just too hard to shoot. When you're framing a shot, if you can think about it, we'll just use these two guys for example. Let's just say they're really a couple, and she's 5'4" and he's 6'6". You just can't frame that shot. Like, will she stand? Nope. See, they're still not letting her stand next to him. That's why. And now, if they did, they would probably put her on boxes and you just wouldn't see their feet. But with that kind of a foot and 2 inches difference, you can't like do a kissing romantic scene with someone. I mean, obviously you can, but it just looks really, really awkward. And they will go, as in Hollywood and production, to great lengths to make that happen. So I've been on things where like the actress or whoever is so much shorter than me. Not only will we be standing there, I'll be standing there, and she could be on a box like this. I'm thinking of one show I did in particular where she was probably, I don't know, she'll probably even maybe shorter than that. I hope I'm right in saying 5'4", because that doesn't sound very short. But for some reason, she's supposed to be really short. Anyway, not only will they build a box for to stand on, but if you like have to walk together, like out of the room or on a beach or whatever, they will actually build a thing. What? A sidewalk, a bunch of boxes in the row for them to walk on so you can walk together. I'll give you a very weird example that has nothing to do with the price of tea in China because it's just supposed to be behind the scenes. Oh, thank goodness. I thought that was the end. If you've ever watched if you watch Hallmark Christmas movies, my family does. My kids loved them growing up. If you've ever seen Christmas Kiss, the first one, it's like one of their most famous ones. That actress is really short. That actor is really big. But yet when they have their kissing scenes in the elevator, all of a sudden, if you look at wide shots, she comes up to about here to him, her head, really. But all of a sudden, when they're kissing and they're having their love, I don't know why this popped in my head, but hopefully it makes sense. And they have those scenes, because now you'll notice it all the time. All of a sudden, her head's up to here because she's on boxes. And it's pretty easy to notice because I look for it all the time, maybe because it was just such an issue with me and still is. I just look to see where their waists are. See, they're all standing together. Their waists are all where they should be. But you can tell when someone's on a box because their waists are all wrong. The girl's waist is real high. The guy's waist is real low. It doesn't make sense. All right. Random. This must be the end because Hepzibah just left. All right. So back to this episode. They've zapped the furniture back. They broke the vase. Probably just a little, just so you know how that's done, a little, electric firecracker, a little explosion thing in there to make it break. And again, can be dangerous. Things can fly. There are a bunch of different ways to do that. Oftentimes, they're not really thick ceramic like you think. They're just very, you've seen those fake glass bottles that in the old days were literally made out of sugar and water that they would break over people's heads. So, of course, by now we're a lot more sophisticated. There are a lot of different ways to do that. There's a backdrop out the door. Of course, they're shooting on the set. Just cheeseball painting back there. Like, do people not notice that? Do people not notice that that's like a painting outside that door? I wonder, because of course I noticed all that, but I just wonder, do people really buy that stuff? Also, interestingly, on the Warner Ranch in real life, there are no houses across the street, but in paintings, there always are houses across the street, but they portrayed it that way. And that is a yellow house on that painting, which is where the Kravis is supposed to live. So very interesting. I also really find it interesting toward the end here, just how they redecorate. So remember, this is the beginning of the 1970s. I think they redecorated the set right now. And now they have that big corded carpet on the floor. The floors are light colored. They redid the kitchen. They redid a lot of that set and made it more farmy. Is that the word? Country. That's the word, right? The decorating style country. All of a sudden, the Stevens home is very country. Am I right in saying that? Traditional? Is that the word? I don't know, but it's just very different.
We'll be watching.
Now, I'm cold watching this, but I'm going to guess Samantha's going to fix it and Larry's going to walk back in because I don't remember those kind of details. because again, just that brings up the point that they do this. Aha! Of course it happened. Do the same gigs over and over again, whether it's Phyllis or Larry or Louise or Gladys. You know, something breaks while we're there. They walk out, and then all of a sudden it's okay. You would think at some point someone would say, "Guys, we've done that a million times," but apparently they don't. They just keep doing it. And needless to say, when they do that, they shoot it, break it, and then they run the film backwards and it's back. And then they have to have a whole second. Usually they actually have several vases with flowers there in case when they, because oftentimes when you explode it, like they're exploding it, like she did that, either it doesn't explode or explodes real little, or it's a mamby-pamby explosion, and they'll keep doing it until they get a good one. And then, and the same thing when they're reversing the film. So they usually have to shoot that a couple times, and props will have to have like sometimes 5 or 6 of them there. That's the end. Wow. Okay, guys. There we go. We're on our way to Salem. We're not going to go to Salem next. We will eventually, of course, in Bewitched chats, but I don't want to like do the same thing over and over and over again. But that's Hepzibah number 2. And the Salem saga was actually very, very popular. And they went, as you may or may not know, to Salem, Massachusetts. They flew to Boston and they actually shot a lot of it in Salem. They also shot a lot of like rear projection and green screen and cheeseball stuff, but they actually went on location in Salem. That was a really big deal. Again, very aggressive. That's them trying to get the ratings back up, and nothing was just really working, unfortunately, at this time. So this is season 7. Season 8 would be ultimately the last season. So that's it. The next one we're going to do is Loch Ness Monster, as I talked about, my least favorite episode, the cheeseballest of them all, because some of you guys wanted it. And again, I read all your comments. I see everything. So that's where we're going next, okay? Hope you like this one. These ones are my favorites. I love the Salem ones. And I'm just going to leave with this. I have a whole new appreciation for Dick Sargent now that I'm doing these chats. I definitely like Dick York. But I never was a big fan, even though I knew him, of Dick Sargent. But I just have a new appreciation for him. I don't know why. I hope you do too. He was a really good guy in real life, and I'm digging him now. I'm digging him. I can watch these episodes again and really enjoy them. I hope you can too. All right. In the meantime, we will see you next time. Keep the magic alive. Keep the magic in your heart. Make it a great day.
I never thought my heart would be happy, but now I'm caught and I'm kinda glad to be